thank you everybody for attending our poster session. This is the Advanced Food Science class. They have developed a variety of gummy or candy products that they will tell you about. And, I just want to thank you guys for joining us today. This is a really exciting thing for me, for them to share their research. So how it will work, they'll present their research in 3 minutes, and then we'll have a couple of minutes for Q&A. First, we have Sophie Ortiz Neidhart and Jordan Tran.
Hi everybody, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Sophie.
And together we developed a candy to improve cognitive health. Cognitive health has become an increasing priority across all age groups, from students managing stress and sleep deprivation to older adults aiming to preserve their memory and focus. Many current supplements focus on a single nutrient rather than a combination approach. Our goal was to create an all-encompassing neuroprotective candy that reflects emerging science on nutrients, supporting brain function and trauma resilience. We began with the baseline control formula, then fortified it with vitamin B12, B complex, glycine, and creatine, each shown to support cognitive health through improved memory, focus, and energy metabolism.
So the instruments that we used to analyze our final product were the pH meter, the refractometer, the Aqualab, the Instron compression testing system. Our final formula ended up being 1/2 cup of V8 blueberry pomegranate juice, 1/2 cup of water, 90 grams of white sugar, 18 milliliters of B complex liquid supplement, 30 grams of beef gelatin powder, 45 grams of creatine powder, and 9 grams of tahine. So for our figures here, you can see we have our most significant figures were the pH meter, figure 2, and figure 3, the refractometer. These are sort of synced up together. As you can see, both have an upward trend correlating with the amount of sugar and added supplements that we have in our final product. So the conclusions for our experiment this semester, we created a palatable product with an effective dose, with a high dose of B12 vitamin supplement, along with other B complex vitamins and creatine as well as glycine. Our future aims would be to test the efficacy of this final product.
So it was initially more of a palatable thing because the creatine wouldn't fully dissolve and it was more like crystallized. And so Drew pointed us in a direction of like going from a gummy to a candy and making it like a Mexican candy. And actually the tahine had capsaicin, which also provided like additional cognitive benefits too, which worked out.
As well as antioxidants from the acidic, like citrus elements in the tahine. Yeah, absolutely. So the Aqualab tells about the amount of water in a product. So as you can see, ours stays pretty much the same and goes down a little bit because we did add a lot of solute to our product. So as you can see here, there comes a point where we kind of get more of like a jelly. And so as we added more to our product, it starts to solidify, but it still has a very high water content.
So up next we have Anna and Ella Love.
Hi, my name's Anna Love.
And I'm Ella Love, and we created a gummy candy providing dietary components for improvement of gut health.
So 48% of people around America report that they are concerned for their gut health or have gut-related issues. So our objective was to create a tasteful gummy candy that includes nutritional supplements such as inulin, collagen, pectin, and probiotics recommended for improvement of the gut. And our final recipe that we came up with was the ingredients included agar-agar, sugar, pectin, cranberry juice, collagen, inulin, and a liquid probiotic. And the instruments that we used for our data collection and our results were the Aqualab, the calorimeter, and our refractometer.
And for our results, our two most important results were our DRI percentages and our refractometer. For our DRI percentages per gummy, our inulin reached about 50% and collagen about 7%. Our pectin reached about 25% and our probiotic reached 33%. And our serving size would be 2 gummies. And for our refractometer, our sucrose levels continue to increase each week. And you can see in Formula 7, we had a high jump. And we believe that's due to the addition of our inulin. Our next most important one is our colorimeter. You can see in the L scale, which measures the lightness and darkness, that there is a high jump and then a decrease. And we believe that is because we eliminated our probiotic that is kefir, and that made it very light substance.
Yes, and overall, our future directions would be to test this gummy on a focus group that does contain gut-related issues, therefore to see positive results. Yes, that would probably be the smart choice, so to test it on someone first, and then if it shows good results with them, then move forward to gut health related issues, maybe starting with very low or someone with a very minimal gut related issue, and then moving on towards a higher extreme issue. So inulin acts as a prebiotic fiber. It's the food for bacteria inside your stomach, which is going to provide healthy gut bacteria, as well as just aiding in digestion and just gut overall stomach problems. Collagen is going to help repair and strengthen your intestinal lining.
Hi, so my name is Kennedy Love. This is my partner Angela Song, and this is our panel on a prenatal gummy that we developed. So the overwhelming majority of micronutrient needs are increased for pregnant mothers, and pregnant mothers are aware of this as they consistently improve the quality of their diet for the duration of their pregnancy. However, despite these marked improvements in dietary intake, they consistently don't meet their nutritional needs. And this is where our gummy comes into play, as we designed a prenatal gummy that's fortified to bridge the gap between these increased micronutrient needs and these frequently insufficient intakes. And as you can see, there are a slew of micronutrients of concern that mothers frequently do not get enough of in their diet alone. And the consequences of this are cataclysmic, ranging from increased rates of preeclampsia, increased rates of neural tube defects, and increased fetal and maternal mortality rates. As a result, the objective to this was to develop an all-in-one gummy designed to meet the nutritional needs of a pregnant mother above the age of 18 with 6 key micronutrients that can be seen in Figure 1.
Okay, so first we started with a standard gummy, and then our key changes included changing from pork gelatin to beef gelatin, and then we also added folate, calcium, choline, iodine, and vitamin B12. And then another key change was also changing the color and changing the mold. As you can see in Figure 1, we started our control gummy had 0% of the DRIs, but then in our final gummies, that graph shows all the DRIs that are met, and our Figure 2 shows the bite force, and then Figure 3 shows the pH, and Figure 4 shows the sucrose content. And then we inserted pictures of the main changes, especially visually. So Figure 5 showed our control gummy. Figure 6 shows after we added calcium citrate. And you can also see underneath the color chart that manipulation 3, the L value increased, which is the lightness. And then Figure 7 shows when we added the food coloring. And then again on Figure 9, manipulation 7, the B value decreased. And the Figure 8 shows the final product.
So in conclusion, we successfully developed a palatable gummy that meets the key micronutrient needs for pregnant mothers, and the only future direction we would say is to measure the precise amounts of each micronutrient in each gummy to see if dispersion was equal throughout each gummy. Actually, there really wasn't one data-wise. I don't eat pork, so I couldn't try the gummy the first time. So in the interest of me having a say, I wanted to be able to try it. So it was selfish, Yeah, the needs for 14 to 18-year-old pregnant people are very different from, they're elevated for things like calcium, and we were choosing the DRIs based on 18 plus, so it would be more consistent. That was the main reason.
Yeah, I would just change like the DRI values. So.
Yeah.
Most prenatal gummies have folate, but it's just our product. We wanted to add like all the other stuff. We feel like a lot of like prenatal gummies just only have folate and maybe like one other product, but we wanted to add like choline and iodine. Choline is just very low in the market right now, and so that was just like part of the reason why.
So yes, like folate is consistently added enough, but yeah, choline in particular is added in only 6% of products. So we wanted to add that as adequate intakes not met by 90% of mothers.
Okay, and that would be a great marketing.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so when we got our first feedback, it was not visually appealing. A lot. It almost looked flesh color just because we started with like a red gummy, like red clear gummy, but then once we added calcium citrate, which was very milky, it turned into like that figure six color. And so our calcium citrate is actually blueberry flavored, so we wanted to make it like it look like a blueberry. So we also changed the mold to make it circular.
Hello everyone, my name is Kimberly and this is my lab partner Brice. And so for our experiment, we basically made a functional gummy for power lifters. And for a little bit of background, usually for power lifters, they have to prepare like a pre-workout powder in order for them to get that extra supplement for energy. However, we wanted to make it more convenient for them by making a gummy that is more palatable and more convenient too. And with that said, we wanted to also create or fortify that gummy with caffeine, creatine, L-carnitine, and beetroot powder, which helps with a variety of like effects for a workout. Like for example, giving that extra energy, helping with muscle building as well, and then giving that vasodilation so that the workout is more efficient. And in terms of the experiment itself, so we had a control formula we started off with, and our final formula was 1/2 cup of cranberry juice, 1/2 cup of apple juice, 30 grams of beef gelatin, 30 grams of beetroot powder, 30 grams of L-carnitine, 50 grams of creatine, and then citric acid powder mixture, along with 5 caffeine tablets too. And the equipment that we used to test our product included the water activity meter, instron, and pH meter. The main manipulations I would point out is the addition of the creatine powder, L-carnitine, beef root powder, and yeah, I'll pass it on to Brice.
All right, so looking at the results, the most important ones being figures 1 and figures 5. Figure 1 describes bite force readings as measured by the instron, and then manipulation 1 and manipulation 6, they're the biggest jumps. So manipulation 1, we added crushed up caffeine tablets, but those tablets themselves had fillers with them, such as scarmellulose powder, sodium, which acted as a filler which absorbed water and also disrupted the double helix structure of the agar-agar. And then in manipulation 6, we swapped out the agar-agar for beef gelatin, but didn't add nearly enough, which caused our bite force readings to lower. And then looking at figure 5, the blue bar represents a supplemental dosage of our standard serving size being 3 versus the minimum efficacious dosage as shown in the red. And we use 200-pound male as the standard. So as you can see, everything here we meet the standard efficacious dosage, except for caffeine, which is heavily dependent on tolerance. And so looking at future aims, the future direction would probably just be that we need to test the functionality of the gummy on powerlifters. In order to do that, we'd ideally have them consume it about an hour beforehand and to measure the percent change in their lifts.
Great.
Very good. I just Googled the average for a man in America. It's at 200 pounds, yeah. L-carnitine, so there was a randomized double placebo control trial, and then it increased the perception of recovery and the decrease in soreness, as well as blunted decreases in strength and power.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Noah. This is Michael. And the objective of our project was to formulate a gummy to fortify the gummy with key nutrients to help joint health in those with and at risk of osteoarthritis. Because over 600 million people in the world, 1 in 14 individuals globally have osteoarthritis, and it is an irreversible disease that again affects millions.
Yeah, so kind of going through our method, we started off with a control gummy and then did a bunch of manipulations to eventually get to our final gummy, which is a lot more consistent with the goal we had in mind. So part of the things were adding nutrients such as magnesium or vitamin C which kind of help alleviate some of these nutrient deficiencies that can increase those risks of osteoarthritis. And then other things like collagen or glucosamine, those really strengthen the collagen within the joints, and that can alleviate some of that inflammation. As you can see by our image 1, you can see where we added our orange juice. This was for our vitamin C. And then you can see with our color lab, measured by a colorimeter, pretty obvious, it got a lot less red and a lot more yellow. And then our compression force was measured by an instron compression test system. And this, it got a lot more force, more bite force. This could be due to more sugar being added and more nutrients being added, kind of adding to that overall matrix of the gummy.
So the results of our sensory evaluation were fairly positive, with most of the participants rating the various sensory components as like moderately or like very much. Additionally, our nutrient content, which we ascertained from product labels, met roughly half, more than double, and 1/6 of the RDAs for vitamin C, D, and magnesium respectively, and 80% and 50% of what we determined to be a therapeutic dose of collagen and glucosamine. For the future of this project, we would have loved to be able to test this on a clinical population to see how it actually affects joint structure. And additionally, there were some shelf stability concerns that we would have loved to have the time to address.
Excellent work.
The purpose of adding collagen is it is a structure naturally found in the cartilage of the joints. And so supplementation was found to promote healthy joint structure and to alleviate pain in those already with the disease. Not directly, but vitamin C is obviously a natural antioxidant. I'm sure there's also small amounts found from the orange juice. But we didn't intentionally add antioxidants to the product.
So glucosamine, it kind of works in strengthening the collagen in the body, and it helps with preventing degradation of that, sorry, not collagen, but the cartilage, which is made with collagen. Yeah, it helps prevent degradation of that. So it was kind of just through a combination of clinical trials and studies that we determined within the literature, essentially saying that these doses were the doses at which people found positive outcomes within joint structure.
That concludes our poster session. We would like to thank you kindly for attending, and those of you that are on Zoom as well. Have a wonderful day, and talk to these people about their supplements maybe.